So Chris, one more bonus clip I'd like to talk to you about, and this is one that you brought up and one that you mentioned via a poll on our Twitter. So I'm going to read out the poll and read out the results, and then we can have a little chat about it. So there is a lot of discussion about national anthems before club games today. So we want to know, does your club play the national anthem before a game, and do you think it's necessary? So Chris, do you want to take us behind the background as to why you tweeted this out? Because there was obviously, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head the event, but you might remember it better than I do.
Yeah. So this came after the announcement in the NBA that the Dallas Mavericks weren't going to do the anthem anymore. And it brought a lot of discussion up because I think it's a very American thing, this. And see, in the American sports of ice hockey over here and around Europe, it comes up as well. So I kind of put, does your club play the national anthem before a game, and do you like it or not, or do they not, and would you like them to, or are you fine? And interestingly, the highest ranking answer was yes, they do, but I wish they didn't.
Although, to be fair, it was very close in terms of yes, they do, and I love it as well. See, there's a huge discussion that could be had because there was after the Dallas Mavericks situation came out, there was a huge discussion regarding the American national anthem for sports games, and obviously a lot of the issues that America has been having, social issues, political issues that they've had over the last year or so, that very much came into the discussion. Now, as far as I'm aware, like even when people here in the UK and England went to the cinema back like 50, 60 years ago, they'd play the national anthem kind of thing, but sometimes that's in quite a lot of things other than sports games, really, it's died out in a lot of these places, whether that be because they don't see the point of it, or it's unnecessary, or people aren't interested in it anymore. Whatever the situation may be, these other events that are non-sport related have kind of gotten rid of the national anthem in a lot of ways. So I'm really curious because we got quite an interesting variety of responses here.
We did. I mean, there was the one comment from Yussi who said he voted no and they shouldn't because there wasn't an option for no and I don't really care. But I mean, if you look at the percentages overall, it is more in favour of not playing it.
Yeah. So Chris,
like the 39% for I wish it wasn't and the 18% for they shouldn't comes out to 57% to 43%.
Absolutely. So Chris, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think they should still have the anthem?
It's interesting. I find I get both sides of it.
Yes, me too. Me too.
When I go to, I physically witness both sides of it because they don't at the Lions, but they do at the Panthers.
Right.
So I have been a part of both sides of it. Now, admittedly, the Lions is generally down to time.
Yes.
Because they start late and it starts at 8:00 at night. But they do it at the Panthers. Now, it is interesting, and I think I like Yussi's comment where for international competition, yeah, I can understand it. For a club game, it kind of does seem a little bit like they don't really need to.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do like I'm not any of this. I'll call myself kind of mildly patriotic. If I put it that way.
Yeah.
I like singing the national anthem and things like that. And if I think for special events, it kind of would make sense. So maybe for like playoffs or what have you, like playoff finals weekend or something like.
Yeah.
They don't play it at football every week, but they do play it before the FA Cup final.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like that. But for a club game every week, I'm really not sure it's particularly necessary. And I think particularly in the Elite League, which is obviously where I've got my experience, we have so many imports that the UK national anthem isn't actually relevant to like well over half the players on the ice.
Yeah, I guess it's more the conversation of it's more relevant to the people in the stands, because obviously they're the ones either, standing up in respect for it or singing along to it or whatever. But I feel like I'm very much in the camp that I like similar to UC who commented on the post, like I'm not really that bothered. Like I can understand I can understand why people that have kind of grown up with it and it's been a tradition want to keep the national anthem played before games because it's kind of like part of the ceremony. Like I completely understand that. However, in my opinion, I kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, is it relevant for every single time a game is played during the regular season? No, I don't think so. If they leave it for international games, definitely. There should be anthems played in some shape or form in international games. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got two different teams going up against each other, so it makes perfect sense. But when you've got, like, domestic competitions where... I mean, I guess you could say for the Elite League, because we do have teams from Scotland and Wales, like... It's kind of similar to the NHL, where you have the Canadian national anthem and the USA national anthem played when two teams play against each other. Of course, that hasn't been an issue this season because of the divisions and everything, but I feel like if all of the teams are in one country, I'm not really sure it's necessarily needed. But I guess it all depends on what the league wants, and it'd be interesting to see from a hockey perspective how many fans, whether there would be any backlash like there was for the NBA when this was announced, because Americans, from what we see and kind of the general sense, is they're very proud of their flag and their anthem. They're very patriotic, a lot of Americans. There are obviously Americans that aren't, and there are obviously people across the world that are patriotic and some that aren't. Like, it's not just a specifically American thing. However, I feel like there's this affiliation to the flag and the national anthem that isn't quite felt by a lot of other countries around the world as much as it is by the Americans. So obviously,
I think there is that. Yeah. I think 100%. Like, we're both in agreement, and I think everybody else is, that international competition, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I think domestically, I mean, from a broadcast point of view, because like we don't talk through the anthem naturally. If they didn't have it, it would make it a lot easier with some of our timings.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I remember one where I was trying to, they were going to come to me to do like a pre-match report on the Panthers, and I was like, okay, am I going to get this done before the anthem starts? It'd be a lot easier if that didn't happen. But I think I'm kind of like, yeah, I like the anthem, and I always sing along to the anthem, but I'm not sure that I would necessarily miss it before a club game. And I think even if I did, I think I'd get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and but also
and particularly with some games as well. Like if Panthers are playing Steelers, for example, like every single time halfway through the anthem, you get "We hate Steelers," and it's like, well, that's just. And it just ruins it again. So I think I'd get over it pretty quickly, to be honest.
I feel like on the flip side, though, you could make the counter argument that because it's not really done anywhere else other than like sporting competitions or like royal events or specific like patriotic events, it's like sports is one of the last bastions of having the national anthem. So it's kind of like it adds to the authenticity and the exclusivity of the event where, you know, I mean, for most people, like whether it be in England or the UK or anywhere else, like the ability to go to a sports game, like having the anthem played there might be part of the fun. Is it a make or break situation? No, obviously not. I don't really know any people, and I remember watching I think it was Skip and Shannon, one of the North American shows. Like Shannon was like, I don't remember anybody saying like, "Oh, the anthem's done, time to go." You know, like it's never a case where the anthem being played or not being played is a make or break situation. But at the same time, it's like it's kind of part of that experience. You know, it's like when everybody jokes like part of the night out is when you're drunkenly eating a kebab at like 3:00 in the morning. You know, like you don't need that kebab, but it's part of the experience. It's the stuff that you look back on fondly. So like hearing the anthem might be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll round up. I'll say that like we don't have it at the Lions. Yes, it's a time thing, but I kind of like just teams coming out and just getting on with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, there isn't like a ceremonial puck drop at the Lions or anything either. And I do think sometimes there is like, it's almost too long between teams coming out and the game starting. But yeah, my opinion is I like it, but I'm kind of, if it wasn't there anymore, I wouldn't really be that bothered.
Yeah, and I think to kind of round up on my end, I would probably agree with that. I think, like we said, international tournaments is a great place to showcase that's where everybody's feeling more patriotic anyway, because it's international tournaments and it's your country playing against somebody else's country, especially with like Team GB and the fact that it's kind of our backs are against the wall, it's us against everyone else. We want to blare out that national anthem. But when it comes to domestic games, unless there's two specific teams from different countries that are playing, I personally don't understand the point or the requirement for it. But that said, I do understand the affiliation that so many people have with it due to the fact that it has been such a staple of the sports industry, pre-game or post-game, for the last 100 years, even more. So we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Obviously, the vote that we had, there was about 28 votes. There's still a large group of people that didn't either missed it, didn't know it happened, or weren't quite sure on their opinions. Maybe what we've said has swayed your opinion one way or the other. Maybe you have come up with a completely different opinion. So let us know in the comments and kind of give us your thoughts, and we'd love to hear from you guys.